In the 3.5 years since my son's spinal cord injury, we've been working pretty hard towards his recovery effort. And that continues. But thanks to the inspiration of our friends from Unite to Fight Paralysis, we decided we needed to do something more for my son and the many like him that we've met along the way. So in the spring of 2011, we went to meet with then Minnesota Congressman Jeff Hayden, asking him to consider drafting legislation that would help to fund spinal cord injury research. The research is very exciting and full of promise, but it is woefully underfunded. Mr. Hayden was moved by our story, and to my delight, he welcomed the idea and agreed to research the issue. Well, in February of 2012, we returned to visit with now Senator Hayden, who has been working to finish a draft bill that would help to bring funds to SCI research here in Minnesota. He explained to me that this bill would be an augment to what currently exists for the Brain Injury Association by adding a surcharge to the reinstatement of one's driver's license after a reckless driving violation. The logic being the fact that the majority of spinal cord injuries occur as a result of motor vehicle accidents. What follows are excerpts from my interview with Senator Hayden.
So we want to also take the opportunity to raise the level of awareness now that people are paying attention and see if we can't get the money towards research, the money towards early intervention, and then also continue to support the Brain Injury Association as well and their work that they do to get people the right kind of support.
Can you, if you're able to describe at this point, what portion of revenue that's generated from this surcharge would go specifically to research?
But I think we would all agree that if we could get a solid allocation for spinal cord research, that is awfully helpful. But as I talk to people and learn, we're close. We're getting closer and closer and closer to kind of figuring out how to cure this issue. And so, University of Minnesota is a leader, and we want to be able to continue to fund them as much as we possibly can to get them.
I know there's a growing sentiment in the spinal cord injury community that, not to be too sarcastic, but they're kind of tired of seeing rats walk, and they want to bring that to out of the lab, that translational research, so that it goes from rodents to people. You see this as a kind of kickstart to get out of the lab, to push the research closer to the patient.
I kind of thought about it and thought about doing a bill based on you and your son's kind of, story, if you will. And your story is very much about walking. It's very much about that translational research of what do we do to the patients that are working on this issue now. We want the money to go as much as possible to the research to find a cure.
Do you currently have interest from other legislators in terms of sponsoring something along this line?
We do. We have, once again, this is the state of hockey, so we're really using the opportunity to talk about it in that context in sports. So I have Senator Thomasoni, who was an elite hockey player in his day, is very interested in it. We think that we have interested Senator Daley, Senator Pappas, and others who have, along the way, have talked about this issue of spinal cord injury, traumatic brain injury. We also have some likely participants and some of the senators who have looked at tax credit for caregivers. Absolutely. So there's a kind of a growing population, and we think that this could be a bipartisan bill. We think this is the kind of legislation that really all Minnesotans, regardless of political party, should be thinking about, because it's becoming so prevalent.
Now, in other states, there's a body that's put together to determine how that money is allocated. How do you see that?
Yeah, I think that the board process is probably the way which we would work, but I once again would want to hear from kind of citizens, patients, recipients of the dollars, as well as the academic community, and then as well as the kind of advocacy community, and try to come up with a formula that we think might work, that allows everybody to kind of have their person at the table.
All right, so what do you need?
Well,
what do you need from the larger community? What do you need from us?
I think that we're going to start the process of organizing people. So we're going to need people to kind of tune in. We're going to need people to show up when the opportunity comes for us to, if we get a bill heard. I think it'll be a nice opportunity for us to start to kind of tweet and Facebook and do all of the other ways in which we communicate to let folks know that this bill is drafted and that it's moving, and that we think it's a great opportunity to really kind of cure this issue.
Good. Thanks.
Hey, thanks so much.
Good. So we will be calling. I got a little